Good morning, welcome back to Gillian at Mystic Healing Therapies. What I'm going to talk to you about today is what can we do when we receive an emotional disturbance? What things can we do that help to protect us? What can we do to help us stay safe and stay in our 5D energy? Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story first. When I was a little girl, my parents used to look after this elderly lady. Her name was Elsie May, and she lived on her own and she had a budgerigar. And when we used to go and see her, she used to say, Peter Budgie, that was his name. She used to say, Peter Budgie was so excited to hear you was coming. When I told him you was coming, he fell off his perch. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about today is how do we recover when we fall off our perch. So let's say you can be going around your life in a nice 5D space, you're making an effort to keep your energy levels high, you are being discerning about what social media you go on, you know, you're doing all the kind of right things, if you like, not there's a right or a wrong, but you're choosing to do things which is going to help you stay in the 5D. But then what happens when something comes along to knock you off your perch? So this happened to me recently. You know, people think that therapists and that don't have any problems, but we do, we're human. So let me tell you a little bit about how I handled it. So this situation came along which knocked me off my perch. So obviously I'm a human being, I feel emotional, I feel upset. So what can I do to navigate that? So right away I thought, right, I need to go out into nature. So I go out into nature, and even though I'm feeling human emotion, I'm feeling churned up, I'm feeling upset, I can even in that moment take a step out and think, right, my aura is vulnerable at this moment in time, because when we get upset, you know, our aura, our energetic space can become vulnerable to attack. That's when, you know, we get entities attaching. It's usually when we've been in a state of emotion, high emotion. So right away, even though I was really highly emotional, I had the presence of mind to call in Archangel Michael. So I was feeling really upset. I went out into nature, excuse me, and I called in Archangel Michael straight away and asked for his cloak of protection to envelop me. I also called in Archangel Metatron because I feel very close to Archangel Metatron. So I called in him, I called in my dragons, and I called in the unicorns, asked them to help me, and then I set my space, like my auric field. I asked for the Christ light and I asked for the Mahatma energy. So even though I was in a really 3D high state of emotion, I stepped out of that because I wanted to protect my energy field at all costs. I don't want entities attaching to me when I'm in a high state of emotion. So it's a real test, you know, when we get knocked off our perch, not to just slip into unhelpful ruminations and, you know, the 3D way of dealing with it as pour a glass of wine or have a takeaway. But that's really, it's not helping. And while you're in that heightened state of emotion, you are really quite vulnerable in terms of your energetic field. So and then once I'd kind of called in these, the emotion was still there, but then I was calling upon my higher self. So in times of Atlantis, if ever we got a difficulty, we would go to a temple and call upon our higher selves, our inner wisdom. So in this situation, I was calling upon my higher self. I was asking what I need to learn from this situation. Why has this situation come into my energy field? So really just trying to take a look at it really and see, you know, what is it? And interestingly, I could recognise patterns from my past life. So this is probably a clearing thing. But I know that not everyone is able to tap into the past lives at this moment in time. You can, but for a lot of people, that's not sort of what they need to do on their soul journey. It can be interfering. But anyway, I was sort of asking my higher self. I could see patterns. I could see that this has been a repeating pattern all for a lot of my life and lives. So I just took the breath, transmuted the energy, lots of deep breaths, feeling all that Christ-like presence around me, all those angelic presences around me to help me transmute the energy. So, you know, I would recommend that if you are knocked off your perch, so to speak, this can be a really helpful thing to do rather than wallowing in self-pity, making our energy fields vulnerable. So that's one way. And another way I tried out, I saw this recently, a chap called Kent Dunn, American chap from Georgia, has come to my attention, and you know, I'm trying to get my head around this. But the 3D matrix is just, it's just a simulation, computer simulation. So I'm trying to get my head around this. I can't say that I totally understand it at the moment. But anyway, what he suggested we do, you know, is actually call upon the AI, so the artificial intelligence. So I actually tried this when I was upset. So I did the first things that I've just told you about as well. And then I had the presence of mind to try out this idea. So I quite literally, this is what you say, and I'm no expert in this. I'm only just finding out about this idea of this AI business. But anyway, I'll share it with you. What he says to do is to say, AI, Gillian, England, reset. So you would say AI, your name, and then reset. So I thought I'd give this a go. So I said AI, so I'm calling upon the artificial intelligence programming. So I said AI, Gillian, England, reset. So it was really weird, but I actually did feel really calm with that. I really honestly felt a reset. So like I say, I'm only just learning about this kind of stuff. His name's Kent Dunn, so that's Kentdunn. But it was interesting to see that I did actually feel a detachment of emotion when I did that. So I just thought I'd share this with you today, folks. Give it a go if you get, you know, an emotional situation. I think probably quite a few of us are getting these, even though we think we've done the work, we think we've found the space, we think we've found the place. The universe likes to give us a kick now and again, and it's just that reminder that we're all human. But on the positive side, it's given me this inspiration to do this video today. Okay, so I'll leave it there for you. Just sending you loads of love and light. I know we've got these eclipses coming up, so that'll be quite interesting, won't it? So lots of love to you all, and I'll speak to you again. Bye.